Hey, Deepo here at my home office. This is Deepo with deepolassureblog.com or deepolasure.com. I am excited for you because this information you're about to listen to or to watch, I believe will make game-changing results for you. The question is, how can you have a private residual income formula working for you so that you can begin to enjoy network marketing success? I mean, if there was that private residual income formula, wouldn't you like to know? Well, stay tuned because this information, like I said, will absolutely transform your life and business forever. So stay tuned. Hey, Deepo here, and welcome back. So the question is, what is this private residual income formula that can help you to have network marketing success? Maybe you've struggled in the past. Maybe you've tried this and this and that, and then wonder and then not have the success yet that you've always wanted, right? Well, there's four steps involved in this private residual income formula that you need to begin to implement if you want to succeed in your network marketing business. Well, even before I go into it, or rather than me going into it, I'm going to introduce you to those to those having the results to back it up, right? Toby and Layla, they're going to be sharing that information with you as well as Dave. I mean, get ready, pull your notes out, grab a pen, and get ready to take notes. Take notes frantically, and just get down all these ideas so that you can begin to implement it in your life and in your business. So here is Toby and Layla. I'll talk to you soon.
Practicality dictates that everyone's results will vary, as we are all unique and different. Basically, it takes hard work to make a substantial income in this business, and some people will make no money at all. The earnings of an Empower Network affiliate will be 100% dependent upon their skills, work effort, commitment, leadership capabilities, and market conditions. Common sense would suggest that in most opportunities, one would find exceptional individuals performing well above average, while others perform under the average. Empower Network does not guarantee any level of income or your success. The average affiliate can expect to earn less than $100. To see our full income disclosure, please visit our website at www.empowernetwork.com/income.
Okay, welcome out everyone. My name is Chris Russell, Vice President of Field Relations here, and wanting to welcome everyone out. There's quite a few people on the call tonight, and we've got quite a few different types of people, so you probably fall into one of these buckets. First off, if you're a new person who's just been invited here, you've probably seen something about how to earn a business, how to run a business from home, build a business from home, earn an income online, doing it on the internet from the comfort of your own home. And if that's you, sit back, relax. We've got on some amazing trainers tonight. They're going to talk about how to do that. If you're one of those that is a member here with the community already and you are an affiliate, welcome. And thanks for coming out again. And for those of you who are here for the first time, just so you know, we've got a whole community out here tonight that is a part of this community that really plugs into this and learns together about how we build a business online, on the internet. And like I said, we've got some really cool and very accomplished trainers for you tonight. And so you probably, if you're one of those people that is here for the first time, then what I would probably guess is that you're either in one of these three categories. You currently don't have a business, and you really want to know more. You want to know that there's another better way than probably the 40 hours a week for 40 years, thinking that if that's all there is to life, then, I want to shoot myself in the head now type of thing. Or two, you own a business, but you may be struggling. You're desperately trying to figure out how to get more customers and clients, the real lifeblood of your business. If that's you, then tonight is the right place. You're going to learn a lot more about that. And then you might be one of the people in the third bucket, which really would be you're a business owner with really good results, and you're searching around, looking around, you really want to know more about how to do this. You want to get better results. You want to generate more leads in your business. You want to generate more income. You want to systematize processes. You want to make all that stuff work better for you. And if you're any of those three people, then the good news is this is an amazing call we're going to have tonight for you, because we've got on Toby and Layla, who, for all intents and purposes, are one of the most qualified people you could possibly listen to, and here's why. What they're going to talk about tonight are the active routines that they have incorporated into their life that help them operate at a level that has literally helped them in their first 12 months online to generate, and these results are not typical, but literally $132,989 in their first 12 months online. They're going to talk to you about the 3 normal day routines that are just crushing your chance of, that help you crush your chance of a long-lasting, sustainable success. And the fastest way to go from where you are to where you really, really want to be in life. And this really comes along with not having to change who you are, making crazy, massive investments in way too much, and definitely without sacrificing, most importantly, time away from your family and your loved ones. So this is what this call is about tonight. And most people would be asking themselves right now, well, if I made that kind of money online, and that's just their first 12 months, guys. I mean, they've done, actually Toby and Layla themselves have, and results not typical again, have literally generated sales, okay, not necessarily commissions, but sales, actual transactions, sales of just under $24,000. I believe the exact number at the moment, $23,897,898 in sales online just in the past few years alone. These are people who are qualified to talk to you about getting to where you want to be tonight. So without much further ado, let's just bring them on and get the training started. Toby, are you out there? Let's see if he is on the line. Tara, can we make sure that we can unmute Toby real quick as well? See, we hear someone out there. That might be Toby on his end. I know he's here. I just talked with him. So, Toby, you there, bud? Interesting enough, we're having some technical difficulties, guys, on getting him on. And stand by, we'll get him on here in just a moment. And so until then, I just want to talk to you guys real quick about, looks like we might have him coming on here. Looks like I'm getting a message back. You guys got to love technology and how it's working out here. Says your line cannot unmute. Okay. Interesting.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hey, Dave, you there, man?
Hey, how's it going, man? So what I'll do, Chris, is I'm just going to take this over until Toby comes and interrupts me, and then I'll come back on a little bit later. I wasn't expecting to do that, but that's fine because I'm here and I have a plan. So everybody here wanted to welcome you out, and Toby, whenever you can get on and you can speak, just cut into me, and I'll continue my thought after you're done because I know you've got something prepared. So everybody here, here's what I want you to do in kind of preparation for Toby coming on a little bit later on tonight. I want you to clear your mind, and I want you to focus on your future and focus on the goals that you came into this environment for. And by this environment, I mean whoever invited you here. If you're in Empower Network, if you're not in Empower Network, if you're part of the team or you're not, they invited you here and you got the email because you were looking for a way to make money on the internet. You were looking for a way to make money from home. You were looking for a way to dramatically enhance your lifestyle. You were looking for a way to put yourself and your family in a better and more empowering future. And on this call, being here with us, you're in the right place at the right time. So here's what I want you to do for a second here, and I always have people do this whenever I'm teaching anything. I want you to focus on your outcome. I want you to focus on the result that you want to create, whether it's you want to be able to pay your bills on time and you're kind of just figuring out a way to get out of the struggle of society, or whether it's you want to figure out a way to increase your income and get out of a job that you hate. if you've got a business, but your business is a grind and you want to find a way to exit that business, or if you just want to be like me and make lots of money on the internet and be able to live a residual income lifestyle. I read a book a few years ago, and I still remember the impact that it had on me, and I don't remember everything in the book because, I forget things a lot, but it was called 4-Hour Work Week by a guy named Timothy Ferriss. And I remember when I read that, how enchanting this kind of lifestyle seems. He describes in that book a lifestyle that we have the ability to create called the new rich, where it's not about having all the money in the world, although you can have a lot of money too. It's really about creating a life where you're able to control the resources of time and money, and you're able to go do what you want to do in the world. In 2009, when I started building my business on the internet, I was broke and homeless. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a big success pedigree. I had never really succeeded in any business, although I'd been starting them since I'd been 21 years old, which up till that point was 7 years of basically just failing year after year after year after year after year. Right before I started my business on the internet, I was living in a green 1996 Dodge Caravan on the North Shore of Oahu, Hawaii, parking at different beaches every single night, and I just was broke. I had nothing. I was not the kind of person that you would think would start a business that would end up doing near $200 million in sales on the internet in 4 years. I wasn't the kind of person who you'd think was going to be the number one recruiter in the first company that I joined on the internet, and I was going to win a BMW a few months after I joined. You wouldn't think that
Dave,
that guy who I was who moved. Hey, is that Toby?
Hey, Dave, can you hear me now?
Hello? Yes, I can.
Hey, can you hear me, Dave?
Big open loop. I will finish my story later in the call. Everybody, this is Toby Black. I'm going to give him another introduction here real quick because I'm interrupting my story in the middle of it. I've known Toby since very shortly after I got started on the internet back in 2009. I can't remember if he joined what I was doing at the time in 2009 or 2010, but I actually saw him kind of be raised up from nothing on the internet. He got started broke like I did and got started marketing the same way that I did, and I saw him literally go from broke to making his first $10,000 online, then to making his first $20,000 online, and then I saw him get involved with what we're doing here at Empower Network, and I saw him now. He's earned close to $1 million in commissions. I think he's actually like 30 or 40,000 away, and he is one of the most charismatic leaders. Now, here's the thing that I really want to introduce him for is because of what I was just talking about with his desire to create a residual income lifestyle. When I met Toby, he had this dream, kind of being a musician and stuff like that. But he really put in a lot of work when we first launched this company for about 6 months. And in that 6-month period, he built the business that essentially after that 6 months, he hasn't really done a lot in the last few years until very recently. And the reason is because he just wanted to kind of take it easy, chill, have a couple babies with his wife for a while. I actually don't know all his reasons. He could talk about it tonight. But in the process of doing virtually nothing, he's earned almost $1 million from the work that he did that first 6 months. And so the question that I'd like to present to you, and the reason why I really wanted to bring him out, and we're actually going to do another training on this later in the week, is because Toby has created the dream, a business that he's walked away from and still continued to get paid on month after month after month after month after month for like literally over 3 years. It's a fantasy for most of the world and a reality for Toby Black. I don't know if he ever graduated from college. I actually don't know too much about him other than that he was a drunk musician before, and that's what he did. So with that being said, pay attention, take notes, and I want you guys, if you're on this call, to realize you're in the right place at the right time. If you're watching this online, there will be a join link appearing any minute now. You want to lock in your spot, and that being said, Toby, over to you, my friend.
Awesome. Hey, Dave, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Awesome, dude.
Just making sure. Okay, perfect. Just making sure. Hello, gang. Toby. One part Toby and Layla here. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but hey, we're just like everybody else. We go through those little technical difficulties every single day. If you're a parent, you go through not only technical difficulties, but you go through children malfunctions, children meltdowns, and we have to deal with those things every single day. So please forgive my tardiness. Forgive me for being a couple of minutes late, but it was no fault of my own. It was just simple technology, and I think there's a lesson there for all of us to dig into. A lot of people, well, not a lot, but the majority of our planet, if they were supposed to be on some big special conference call and they were supposed to, they were being introduced and they were on, but you couldn't hear them, they'd freak out, they'd panic, and they might quit. And they might say, you know what, I'm just not meant to be on it. Maybe I'm just not meant to speak tonight. Maybe this isn't really for me, right? And they let all of this internal babble go on in their head, and then they end up not even following through as that they want you to do. Well, what you're going to learn here tonight and tap into is a new way of living, so you never let anything like that phase you. So no matter what shit gets thrown your way, you are like Neo from the Matrix, being able to smoothly breathe past it and not get any of that stuff on you and go through to the profit land. In a moment, I'm going to introduce my beautiful business partner, Layla, my wife. She's an amazing woman, and I've been so lucky and blessed to not only be in business with her, to spend my life with her over the past 6-7 years, but also have two beautiful kids together. So this is going to be a movie, so to speak. This is going to be a narrative. This is going to be a book, a chapter that we will go into together, because Layla and I's story is pretty funny, but it didn't start out pretty funny. It started out pretty shady. We, about 6 years ago, were living in the basement of a bar in Canada. We had no home. We had no future. We had no really rich parents to look after us. We had no backup plans. We had, Dave just laughed and said he didn't know if I went to college. I barely got out of high school. I was expelled from 5 schools in high school. Layla was a college dropout and a university dropout. So there's no formal secondary education going on here whatsoever. But what is going on is the fact that two 20-something-year-old kids went from living in the basement of a bar to creating a life that most could only dream of. And actually most couldn't even dream of, because they think it's so foreign to be able to, on a Monday, work for maybe an hour and still make $700, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in a day on average. Now, am I saying that you can listen to this call, sign up, and do nothing, and you'll make that kind of income? No, that would be downright stupid, and that would be a lie of me. Your results will vary. But what I am going to show you and tell you and explain to you, and hopefully paint a vivid enough picture for you to see the masterpiece, which is your life, that you can walk into here tonight. Because if two 20-something-year-old punks with no experience, no marketing background, no business background, no capital to start, only operating off of dumb luck, faith, and belief, can earn 6 figures their first year online and then go on to build 7-figure businesses, well, I think you can definitely do it too. Now, the title of tonight, we're going to be talking about routines. We're going to be talking about micro routines, and we might be talking about some new age, frou-frou, kind of hokey-pokey stuff, and that's how I viewed it before I got into it. Before I really took the time and energy to focus on these activities like visualization, like meditation, like creating a why and operating from that why, before I really took the time to put effort into these things, they were hocus pocus to me. They were what those other people did. And I didn't really give the respect to how powerful our mind and our heart and our soul is. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's not the technique. It's not the sitting down to meditate. It's not the visualizing how we want our dream day to be. It's not the fact of writing down what it is that drives us and operating from there. It's not the technique that's so powerful. It's not the act. It's what it does to us and what we do as human beings inside because of that. It creates this unwavering belief that I will be successful. And that's what I think you need in business in 2015 is this winning edge. You need, obviously, to be successful in a home business, you need to have a unique selling point. You need to have a product that fulfills a need for people in the world. You have to work really hard. But on top of that, you have to have this winning edge. How do you get that winning edge? You have it with a dream. And we are so lucky here with the Empower Network that Dave Wood's dream 4+ years ago was so huge and so strong that it brought all of us along with him. And Layla and I's passion and our dream and our vision is encapsulated inside Dave's vision of what he sees for this company. And all the leaders like Lawrence Tam, Justin and Dee, Aaron Rashkin, all these incredible people from different walks of life, Michael Martin, all these incredible leaders across this company, all of our dreams and our passions and beliefs are encapsulated inside Dave's vision. So right now, if you're someone who's sitting, no matter where you are in the world, and you don't fully understand what this business is, you don't fully understand what it is that you're doing, but you have a feeling within you that you want something more from your family. You want something more for your family. You want something more from your life. You want a better way of living. Well, congratulations, my friend. You have come home because we are giving you the belief. Maybe you've misplaced it within yourself. You haven't lost it because no one's ever lost it, but maybe you've misplaced it from years of schooling and programming and blah, blah, blah of our society. You've misplaced that belief. You've misplaced that Superman or Superwoman effect and confidence that you actually have deep down within, because we all have greatness. So what I'm trying to communicate here is to be successful from home, it takes a few different things. Obviously, you've got to have a product that people need, which we have. You've got to have a compensation plan that will pay you fairly, which will be around forever, which we have. But you also have to have that winning edge, and that comes from your determination. That becomes from your belief and your passion. Maybe you don't know fully what things are right now. Maybe you don't know fully what your true life's purpose is right now, but you understand that you want something better and you're willing to work at it. So let's crack into these 3 routines that are crushing your chance of being successful, because there's 3 things you're probably doing day in and day out that's actually crushing your chance of being successful. You want to know what they are? Okay, here we go. The first one is when you wake up in the morning, or the first thing or the last thing you do before you go to bed, you're checking your email, you're watching the news, or you're worrying or focus attention on bills. If the first thing you do in the morning and the last thing you do before you go to bed is read or check your emails, check the news or read the paper, or focus on any bills that you have that you've got to pay, you are crushing your chance of success. Why is that? Because in the morning, every morning is a miracle for you. Every morning, that first hour to 2 hours that you're awake, that's critical time for you to get stuff done in your day. And if you're wasting that time on emails and bills that have to be paid, you are going to affect the entire day because of that. If the last thing you think about before you go to bed and when you go to sleep but your mind's still working is if you've got a big credit card to pay, what kind of way are you allowing your body to rest that night? What kind of positive environment, what kind of opportunity and abundance mentality are you incubating inside of you when you're going to bed tensed on a subconscious level because you've been focusing on the lack of something? In life, we get what we focus on, right? Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you are focusing on the lack and the need of something, or the lack of funds, or the lack of this, what are you going to get more of? The lack of. So number 1 routine that's crushing your dreams is by you checking email, news, or your bills first thing when you wake up, last thing when you go to bed. Number 2 is spending more time on the TV, investing in your future. Spending more time on the TV than investing in your future. And for some people now, it's not even the TV. It's Yahoo News. For some people, it's on Facebook News feed. I don't know how you waste your time, but if you were to assess what you do in your day, a good 60 to 70 to 80% could be streamlined, could be taken out, and only the real juicy parts that actually are meaningful to you and your family and your future would be left. And it's actually pretty amazing because when you focus on that 20% that actually gets you paid, you know, the 80-20% rule, if you focus on the things that actually get you paid more, you'll have more free time to goof off and do whatever you want. See, while you're listening to me on the phone right now, you might think that I'm a motivated person. You might think that I'm an inspired person, but really I'm the anti-inspired and the anti-motivated. I'm just temporarily motivated to be permanently lazy. See, I've decided that over 5 to 6 to 7 years of our life, I'm going to work my little butt off so my family can live the life that most would never even dream of. I don't want to be cranking like this for the rest of my life. I probably will because it's my passion and my purpose in some way, shape, or form. but I'm temporarily motivated to be permanently lazy. So for all my lazy bones that rather sit on the couch and do this and do that, there is light at the end of the tunnel for us, but you got to put down the bag of chips and pick up the paycheck for a little bit by cranking and putting effort in. The number 3 routine that will crush you and crush your chance of success is holding on to the employee mentality or the lack mentality. What do I mean by that? Well, think about however long you've been in employment, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, 40 years. What does your routine be? You've been given the time schedule of when you're supposed to work. You've been given what you're supposed to do. You've been given who you report to. You've been given everything of what you're supposed to do and your requirements, your responsibilities, and you've also been told what you're worth by your salary or your income of what you make, right? If you take that approach into running your own business as an entrepreneur, if you take that approach into setting yourself free in an online business, you are dead in the water because no one's going to baby you. No one's going to hold your hand the entire way. Yes, there's systems. Yes, there's ways to make your life easier. Yes, there's leadership and mentoring in a community like this that we have with Empower to make it easier, but you're still going to get frustrated. You're still going to have self-determination. You're still going to have self-motivation. You're still going to have to take action by yourself. So right now, if you're focusing on those 3 things, your bills, the news, and TV early in the morning, last thing before you go to bed, if you're programming your success or yourself with that negativity, you're never going to create the space you need to mentally in order to operate from the place that you need to operate from in order to make it to the next level. Make sense? I want to share with you I want to share with you, before I bring my amazing wife out, I want to share with you 3 things that you can do today, tonight, in the middle of the night, if wherever you are in the world listening to this. 3 things that you can start today that will transform your life. You ready? The first thing is visualization or meditation. Just like I said, 6+ years ago, before we got started in this industry, in this journey, I would have seen that as hocus pocus, new age BS, and that's for those frou-frou people who are crazy. Not really. I was letting my ego and letting my perception and my perspective judge how powerful that technique and those methods and those principles and that exercise would be for myself and my family. When Layla and I sat down and laid down for 15 to 20 minutes every single day for over a year, listened to the same audio, and I walked us through our perfect day, our black Mercedes, where we would be, what conversations we would have, how would we be feeling, all of these different things in detail. When Layla and I walked through them every day for a year, day in, day out, every day for a year, visualizing, lo and behold, less than a year and a half later, we had everything that we were talking about in the visualization. Isn't that crazy? So don't overjudge, don't prejudge, don't think you're too good, don't think you can't do it. Eliminate all of that BS thinking and just simply do it. Just simply sit down and put on an audio or put on some relaxing music and sit there and be alone with your thoughts and clear your mind. The first time it's going to suck. The second time it's going to suck. The third time it's going to suck. If you're like me and ADD and all over the place, the first 25 times you did it, it sucked because you were thinking about everything under the sun. But guess what? The more that you do it, the more disciplined you become, the clearer your mind becomes. And guess what? When you clear out the baggage of what's going on in your mind, what's left? An open space to create anything you want. Think about it right now. If you were to eliminate all the time out of your day that you spend worrying on stuff you can't control and putting focus into things that you can't control that may or may not happen, how much time would that be? But what could you do in that time if that wasn't there? Well, my friend, all you have to choose is for that time not to be there. It starts with your decision. The second thing I want to share with you can do right now is start being active in your life. If you are someone that's on disability or someone that can't exercise, in some way, shape, or form, be active. But for 90%, 99% of us, we are just being lazy. Even if it's go outside and walk for 10, 15 minutes. Even if it's do some squats while you're watching your TV show at the end of the night, maybe at 10 or 11 o'clock at night once you've finished cranking for the day. But get into motion, because when you get into motion, momentum happens. When you put yourself into motion, momentum happens. And when you pick up momentum and you get into movement, when you're in action, magical things happen, my friend. Magical things happen. Frustrations don't seem as frustrating. Challenges in your business don't seem as challenging. People that used to frustrate you till you wanted to quit don't seem as frustrating anymore, because you've been able to release the tension, release that negative energy, release that BS that's been building up in your body, because you're actually giving your body what it needs, and that's motion. We are built, human beings, to be in action every single day. How do you think these people that do the most incredible triathlons and run crazy marathons and the Ironman and do all these amazing things with their body, how do you think they do it? Because our bodies are built for it, my friend. You've been programming your body so it believes that it's not ready to do that, and it can't do that when really it can. The last thing I want to leave you with that you can implement today in your life, from visualization, meditation, working out, and getting in the zone, is number 3, operating from why. Operating from why you want to be successful. Operating from why you want to move forward in your life. See, every single day, if you're operating from the place of need, if you're operating from the place of want, you are missing the boat. The second that you decide to operate from a place of what you're thankful for in life, the second you decide to operate from a place from why you want to be successful, why you want to change your life, why you want to give your family a better life for them in their future, when you operate from that place, the belief seeps from your pores. The belief oozes out from your skin. The belief is like an amplifier coming off of your body. The energy is radiating from your body, and you can walk in a room and a person can believe you before you've even said anything. A person can be influenced into whatever it is that you want them to do, and they want to do themselves. They will believe what you say and buy in to your dream or your vision or belief when you're operating from why. Think about it. When you watch someone on the TV or listen to them on the radio, and you see one person that's acting out of simply want and greed and lack, and then you see another person that's truly in their moment of what they should be doing in life and in their passion, who do you believe? Who you swayed toward? Who do you just can't even describe it, but you want to be friends with that person? Because that person is living congruent to their goals, congruent to why they want to be successful, congruent to their life's passion. You don't have to be a person that wants to save the world. You don't have to be a person that wants to have all these crazy, elaborate dreams. That's fine. Any dream that you have is worth taking action for. Any dream that you have is worth believing and going after. Because guess what? You may, even if you shoot for the stars, you just reach the sky. That is a beautiful life, my friend. I challenge you over the next 30 to 45 to 60 to 90 days to start to do those things every single day. Every single day, commit to meditation, visualization, getting active, and operating from why. When you write an email, when you do a blog post, when you start a business, when you interact with someone, every activity that you do in your business that you must do every day to get paid, when you take it upon yourself to act in that moment from why. Don't think about anything else apart from why you are doing it. And watch how different you are on camera. Watch how different you sound in email, and watch how many sales you get in your business when you do that. So rounding it out and passing it back, or passing it on to my beautiful wife, Layla, who's going to come out and share her story and rock the freaking house, because she's an unbelievable speaker, an amazing woman, a great mother, and a powerful leader. I just want to leave you guys with one thing. If 20-something-year-old punks covered in tattoos who were borderline alcoholics with no money, no experience, and no guidance from big business mentors or business management or anything like that can come and do it, what can you do with your greatness? Because you have it. It's there within you. You just need someone like the Empower Network community to help you to bring that back. And that's exactly what you can do, my friend, with this community. So I'm going to dip out. Layla, I'm passing it over to you, my love. Thank you very much. I love you, my dear.
Oh,
go. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So, hi, everybody. My name's Layla Black. I am married to that awesome dude, and I've been in an interesting sort of state right now, speaking to a lot of old connections, a lot of old people that I'd worked with along the years of Toby and I being in network marketing and in the home business realm for the last 6 years now. And this one quote keeps sticking out to me. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And a lot of the conversations that I've been having have been centered around this. You know, people are ready. People are, they're about to burst. It's like the breakthroughs that are happening every single day with the people that I'm connected with and the people within this community are, it's hard to put it into words. You know, I'm kind of like standing back and watching all of this happen and watching all of the vision that is just coming together, and it's like a magnifying glass, right? You're taking all of this vision, all of this power from so many people around the world, and you're focusing it into one single point. And it's just like the only word that you can think of is like fire. It is just burning. It is taking over. It is spreading through, you know, the dry grasses. I have this visual of just this empower fire. You know, and people need that right now. People, our communities, our countries, our people, our families, they need that right now. So you, right now listening, you are meant to be here. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Even though there was technical challenges, even though when we first jumped on, I was like, it's kind of choppy, you know, like it's disrupting. But you are here. You said, no, I'm not going to let technology prevent me from hearing this message tonight. I am not going to let a staticky phone line prevent me from receiving this message tonight. I am here for a purpose, and I was meant to hear that message. So, you know, I was listening to Toby, and he was talking about some of the things that we do on a daily basis. And I just had a conversation with someone yesterday on Sunday, and it was something that really, you know, when you have those moments that your old self probably wouldn't have noticed it, your old self probably would have agreed with something that someone said or not even taken any mind to it, but your new aware and empowered self says, you know, I don't want to live my life like that. So I was having a conversation with someone, and Toby was talking about focusing on the bills. So when you wake up in the morning, you're focusing on the bills, you're focusing on all the things that you need to pay, you're focusing on all the things you need to do. And I had this conversation with a woman, and she said, right now I am in survival mode. Now I want you to think about that, survival mode. It made my stomach curdle. Like I was like, oh, survival mode, survival mode. And then I thought, you know, there's a lot of people out there right now that are in survival mode. Survival mode is not truly living. You're getting by day to day. You're focused on getting by. Now, I know in my life, it's been the most rewarding part of my life, second to being a mom, and being able to be a present mom for my kids every moment, being there, engaged with them, aware, making sure I don't project all my crap onto them because of honestly, because of the Empower Network and the development that I've been able to do. But you really think about the real meaning of life. And it is not surviving. I am in thrive mode. I want you to say that to yourself. If you're feeling like you're in survival mode, I want you to reframe right now. I am in thrive mode. You are thriving. A simple change in your language can completely change your state. I want you to feel it. I want you to say it out loud. I want you to post it in your Facebook status. I am in thrive mode. Screw survival mode. We aren't surviving. We are thriving here. And that's what makes Empower Network so magical. That's what makes it such a passionate place, because so many people are focused on thriving rather than surviving. Now, I want to leave you with one tip before I pass it off to a man that is definitely the second man that's changed my life. My tip for you is to be open to advice. Now, Toby doesn't sugarcoat anything. He's a straight talker. He tells you like it is. There's no BS. He's not going to put any fluff in there. He's not going to pat your head and make you feel good. He's going to cut straight to the point. Being married to him, sometimes there's a little resistance, right? But I have to release my ego and realize that, yeah, most of the freaking time he's right? Most of the time he's not willing to put up with the BS because it is BS.
Be honest. It's not most of the time. It's all the time. Don't be honest.
Okay. So, yes, you have to, you really do. You have to release the ego and say, okay, is he right? Yes. Maybe it was a slap in the face. Maybe it was a punch in the gut. But was it the message that I needed to hear at this exact moment? And a lot of people judge us, right? I remember we were speaking at an Empower Network event, and I had a man come up to me after we got off stage, and he had white hair. He was probably 65 or so, and he came up to me and he said, when you first got on stage, I thought, what the heck am I going to learn from these guys? They're covered in tattoos. They're kind of weird. They're kind of crazy. They're nothing like me. I'm an established professional. What am I going to learn from them? And he told me that out of all of the speakers, he had his biggest breakthrough, his biggest shift was when we were on stage. And it was that perspective shift that he had that he was prejudging where the information was coming from. So one thing that I've always done since I've started way back when at a hotel meeting selling purple juice is always been coachable. Always been coachable. No matter what my paycheck looked like, no matter how big my team was, always be coachable. Always be looking to that mentor. Always be looking to that person that can lead you to that better version of yourself. And if there is one person that has led me to the better version of myself, it is definitely the man that I'm about to introduce. Now, when I first met Dave, it was instantly, I liked the guy. He was just so genuine, the way that he smiled, the way that he looked you in the eye when he spoke to you. It just really resonated with me. And, working with Empower since conception, Toby and I, like Dave said, we've done some different things. We took our foot off the pedal. There was a time when we were top leaders in a traditional network marketing weight loss company, and we were doing home parties every night of the week. We were doing 200 calls a day. We were dialing down. We were closing the month. We were doing, I think I told my weight loss story about at least 100 times a day to grandmas, aunts, coworkers, three-way calls coming out of every pores of my body. And, even in that moment, Dave never said, oh, you guys are crazy, those things don't work. Or he never judged us, or he never said, why the heck are you guys doing home parties? He knew, first of all, that we would get burnt out and that we would be back because our Empower income was gradually getting bigger than our traditional network marketing company, and we were busting our butts over there. But he never had that judgment. And I remember coming to an Empower Network event. I think it was my first one, and going into this VIP suite where Dave was, and there was a few people there. They were saying, oh, how's that BMW program? And they were making fun of us a little bit. But Dave just looked us in the eye, and he said, I believe in you. You will do amazing things no matter what you do. And it was just that energy about him that he's always had from day one, and starting in Power, he has just proven over and over and over again his commitment to all of us, his belief in all of us. And, we wouldn't be the people that we are if we didn't have David Wood in our life. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Dave. I am so honored to be part of this crew, part of this awesome posse, and this movement. The fire is burning bright. Thank you so much.
Hey, well, thank you. And stay on for a bit because I'm going to ask you guys some things. But I actually want to start off with something and then I'm going to get back into the story I started with. So everybody here, thank you for being here tonight. I wanted to thank you for sticking around. I wanted to thank you for sticking around for the technical difficulties we had in the front end, and to honor you for being here, because our goal here really is to inspire you. Just real quick, everybody here on the line, I want you to look at the caller ID, the phone number you dialed into, or maybe you're on a page, and just real quick, take that number, that phone number, okay? It is 641-715-3602, and just share it on Facebook, okay? Say, hey, we're live with David Wood, with Toby Black, learning some cool strategies. You can also post a link of the page that you're on. Just grab the link, post it on Facebook. And my goal over the next couple of minutes is just to inspire you, to lift you up, and also tell you what to do next, tell you what's coming next, and tell you what kind of a special place you're in, tell you what kind of a fire of excitement that you're really going to be a part of here with us for the next little bit. So first thing I want to start off, though, with you, Layla, is I know that just for a long time you guys were just burnt out, and that's the truth. And you didn't really talk about that, and Toby didn't really talk about it a lot tonight. But I know that, when you got started in Power, you were in a different space, you were very excited, and then you just kind of got burnt out. You guys had a company that kind of pulled some whack job stuff on you, right? Some bullshit, really, if we're just going to call it what it is. And you guys you kind of like had your heart broke by that. And I know because that's happened to me too. But I've seen you guys just come alive with fire again. And so can you just talk to me about that, why weren't you excited, and then how come it's all back and stronger than it was before? What happened?
Well, even now, I still every time my phone rings, it's like this shudder that goes through my body. I barely answer the phone for Toby because I have been so burned by the industry, and putting your heart and soul into a team, putting your heart and soul into a company, and then having it taken away in an instant is like, like it was really defeating, and it kind of made you question, like, do you want to put your whole self into something that someone else owns? And that's why it was really important for us, to be aligned with you, Dave, to link arms with you, because it's always been that consistent message. It's always been about the field. It's always been about the brand new person that's getting started, and it's not been about lining your pockets. And so, I guess we lost faith in the industry. It was like living nightmare where you're preaching this dream lifestyle, but really you're miserable, you're attached to your phone, you don't have time to have a life. And I'm just grateful, the fact that we were able to create a leveraged online business by the time that we had kids, because we've only had kids in the last 2 years. And so being able to have those systems in place, really, just having that time, those years of the first moments that they open their eyes, and the first moments that they laugh and smile, and being totally present for those, and not having to worry about anything else was really, it's really something that I'm passionate about now, because it's like, you couldn't have done that in any other industry. You can't just take 2 years off and, hang out with your kids all the time. That's not real life, but it is when you learn how to leverage yourself. And so after going through that experience, it's been like, okay, this is not a secret we can just keep to ourselves. This is something that no one should be missing out on. No one should have to look back and say, man, I wish that I was able to do that when my kids were small. Do it now. And so, yeah, coming back, especially going out to the event in Orlando with both the babies and, having them surrounded by this community of empowerment and teaching people to truly believe in themselves. I mean, this is stuff that they don't teach kids in school, and my kids are just infused with it constantly, and that's the kind of place that I want to raise my kids in. And Power Network is definitely the kind of place that I want to raise my kids in. So that is just sparked this fire, being parents, having this freedom lifestyle finally that we had been told from the beginning we would have. But, even when you're making $20,000 a month and you have no life, you're traveling to a different living room every single night, it's not really freedom. So in contrast to where we are now, just, being parents, being fueled by that and being fueled by a mission to help other parents so that no one has to miss a baseball game, no one has to miss a dance recital, and really learning how to take what Empower Network teaches and to package it into your family, and creating empowered families. Like this is the change that needs to happen in this world right now. And yeah, there's online stuff, there's lead generation, there's capture pages, all of that stuff, but the true gold, the true $1 million lesson that we've taken away from Empower Network is really what we've infused into our family, and those beliefs and that elevated style of thinking, and really pushing them to be everything that they can. So, yeah, it's been a crazy journey, from 2 punks in the basement of a bar to now, having 2 babies under 2, owning a home. Like, my credit was so bad, I never thought in my life I would own a home. Like, I was very
you get homeless credit too, right?
irresponsible youngster, right? But the banks like cash, so that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just great hearing the energy in your voice and hearing about your 2 beautiful babies. And it was so great to see you guys again for the first time in a while at our last event. And this is really why I do what I do, Layla. It's for you. I really love you guys, and I've always just believed you'd do great things and step into a greater future than you've ever been in. And I still just believe that. I just see you guys in the future with us on stages all over the world and doing it from a place of love, doing it from a place that you want to be there, not because you have to, but because you want to just be out there and serve, and you don't need to because you're so abundant. And that's what this is really all about. That's what abundance is really all about. Like Toby was talking about earlier, is doing things where you're not in a state of lack, doing things where you're in a state where you're thinking about how to do things that are bigger, not running from something, but moving towards something greater in the future. And that's really what this is all about, guys who are on the call. Whether you're in Empower, whether you're not in Empower, today I woke up this morning and it's just I got to look out and I got to just see all the amazing things around me, see all the amazing people around me, all the affiliates that we have that are prospering, the breakthrough stories we've had, the stories like Toby and Layla, the stories like their sponsor, Lawrence Tam. I was talking to Lawrence Tam earlier today, and, this month, his residual income, see our income disclosure, this is Lawrence, it's not average, right? This month, his residual income is going to hit right around a little bit under $40,000 this month from work that he's done over the last few years. And so this month, before he goes out and he makes, marketing materials, and before he goes and he really sponsors a bunch of people, his residual income is making over $1,000 a day. And so I want everybody here who's on this call, who's been a part of this for a while, or maybe you're not in, or maybe you're deciding to join right now. Maybe you're on the page and there's a join button over to the right, and you just want to lock in your spot and take that spot before somebody else does. There's a lot of people on the page. There's a lot of people that have been joining today. And we do have something where you do get an advantage from making a decision before the other people who are on the call make that decision. We didn't talk about it earlier, and I won't spend too much time talking about it tonight, but I'm just telling you, you want to lock in your spot. These are the stories, the transformations that are the reason why I'm doing this, because I don't need to own a company to make money. Back in 2009, guys, when I, first started succeeding, it wasn't owning my own company. It was selling other people's products and services. I was actually in a couple of different companies, and combined total, my income was right around $1,000 a day. And I was making money, and I moved down to Costa Rica, and I lived on the beach, and I was like running in the ocean every day and going swimming and doing webinars and hangouts and just writing my blog posts and living this amazing free life. I remember in 2010 or I think 2011, for my birthday, I went out to Bora Bora. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to Bora Bora or been to like bungalows that kind of hang out over the ocean, but it's just one of the most beautiful things you ever see in your life. I saw full moon when I was out there, and I remember it was like midnight. I was sitting there with my feet over in the ocean, right, looking up at a full moon that was over the bungalows and kind of shone down. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the mountain of Bora Bora, but I could see the silhouette of the mountain of Bora Bora kind of lit up by the moonlight. And I was looking out over the ocean and kind of looking at the moonlight, looking at the fish below because there have these lights underneath the bungalows. And I thought back to 2006, right? Now, I want you guys to think about this crazy story that I'm about to tell you that is true, right? 2006, I was in a traditional vitamin company, and I was building through home meetings up in Fairbanks, Alaska. It wasn't something I succeeded massively at, but I hit a level in there called regional director and was basically making a few thousand a month up at the peak, right, and made not a lot before that and not a lot after that because my residual income kind of disappeared because, I was just building it off of, like, meetings and phone calls, and I just got burned out and didn't like to build like that and kind of didn't like what I was doing after a while and just stopped, right? But in any case, I was building this company, and I remember I was sitting in one of my downline's house up in Fairbanks, Alaska. This guy's name's Jimmy Cash, and Jimmy said, I've always wanted to go Bora Bora. We're going to all do something, like a law of attraction thing. And I said, okay. So he pulls out this card and it says, 2011, I will be in Bora Bora. And I signed it with a couple of friends, Jimmy, Chris, Rushlow, and a couple of other people that I was working with back then. And I remember signing that card and then totally forgetting about it. And then 2011, May time, and my birthday, I was actually in a bungalow in Bora Bora with my toes sinking down into the ocean, looking up at the shining moon, and I remembered signing that card back in 2011. This story is true, by the way. Ask Chris Rushlow, and he'll tell you that it's true. And I remember sitting there and just thinking and marveling and saying, isn't it amazing what you can do if you just believe? And that's what this is really all about. When we get into a business like Empower Network, when you're making a decision to join, right, you have to believe in what we're doing enough to pull out your credit card to click the button and buy. You have to believe in what we're doing enough to first give it a try, and that's a certain level of belief. That's not a level of belief that's going to make you $1 million. It's not the level of belief that's going to make it so you can travel across the world. It's not the level of belief that's going to make it so you can go to Bora Bora and sink your toes into the water looking out over the rising moonlight, right? It's not that level of belief, right? But it's a level of belief required to pull out your credit card and to give it a try and to walk in your spot, right? And that's an okay level of belief to have, and you're welcome to float there for a little while and get started and just make a decision and get in and kind of plug into our community, then float around and see what it's about if that's what you want to do. You're not going to succeed there, but it's a transitional state, right? And there's a different level of belief that's going to get you from there to making a decision where you say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. You know what, this is the business that I'm going to build. You know what, this is the future that I'm going to create. You know what, I do see the fire. And where you make a decision and you buy all of our products, where you're investing in your education to educate yourself to be a better business owner, because that's what our products are, right? We have technology products and education products. Then you purchase those and you invest in your own education to step into a different future, and that's a little bit of a different level of belief, right? The person who gets in and they quit a week later had a very different level of belief than the person who gets in and they're here 5 years later, right? The person who gets in and they just don't do anything ever has a little bit of a different level of belief than somebody who gets in and they start sponsoring 5 people a month their very first month. The person who has a belief to get in and then they call customer service and they say, can I have a refund? And we say, of course, here, just take your money back. We don't want it. go. You know what I'm saying? We don't need your money if you don't want to be here, right? That kind of a person has a very different level of belief than somebody who gets in and they make a decision. They say, you know what, this is an inspirational community. You know what, there are people here who are transforming lives. You know what, this comp plan is paying people like Lawrence massive money, and maybe I'm not there now, and maybe, you know what, the average person doesn't do it, but you know what's also true is I'm not average. That's a different level of belief. So what this is really all about, and what this call tonight is really all about, is giving you some mindset skills, giving you some knowledge, and giving you some strategies to raise your level of belief in yourself, to raise your level of belief in what you can do, to raise your level of belief in the future, to raise your level of belief enough to give it a try, to raise your level of belief enough to where you believe that you can do this and therefore make a decision to invest little in your education and step into a new future, to raise your level of belief in what you can do enough to where you actually get out there and you take some action, and by the actions you take and by the strategies you implement that you learn from what we teach, you go out and you start stepping into a future and start earning your first commissions on the internet, because that's where my belief started to pick up too. I remember I was online and I was doing webinars and doing hangouts and I was preaching the dream, living the nightmare before I discovered the principles that we teach in our products, right? Before I discovered the principles that we teach, where we teach people how to produce sales literally on a daily basis without making tons and tons of phone calls, only making phone calls to the right people at the right time, right? Saying the right things to them so they pull out their credit card and they decide to buy it. We teach you these skills. We teach you these strategies. And before I learned that thing, you know what I was doing? I was grinding like Toby and Layla were talking about, right? I was grinding. This is why I lived in a van. It's because nothing I tried worked, right? And emphasize the word try, because before that time, I hadn't ever really raised my belief enough, like I just talked about, to make a decision to do it, right? And that's what I'm here to talk to you about doing tonight, using these strategies to step into a new future, raising your belief enough to say, yes, I'm not going to try it, but yes, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to tell you guys something, that this is a special time. If you take the special action that's required to capitalize on it, you can step also into a special future. But to do that, you've got to make a decision that this is not just the time, that this is your time, and there's a difference. Right? I'm going to tell you guys something. There's people on this call right now, and I can see it. It's like there's people all over the world, like little lights, little fires in people's hearts scattered all around the world. And there's somebody on this call right now, and you've never, ever, ever done something like this. And I'm going to tell you, there's somebody on this call who's never done anything like this. They're going to get in for the very first time. Tonight they're going to make a decision, and they're going to be like Sarita Cleese out in Australia, right? Never been in internet marketing, never been in network marketing, right? Just came out of a long relationship and kind of was figuring herself out on how to be a single woman again. And her first year made $150,000 online. Her first try, the first time she ever tried it. There's somebody on the call like that making a decision right now. Right? There's somebody on this call right now, okay? And you know what? You've been in like tons of deals. You're like I was before, right? You're always wondering what the secret is. You're always wondering, is this my time, right? You're always wondering, like, who's the right guru to listen to, or what's the right strategy to learn, or what's the right book that I need to read, right? And you're always placing your success outside of what's in your heart. You're always placing your success in other people. You're always placing your success in the future. You're imagining yourself in the future, 2 to 5 years out, finally succeeding, right? There's somebody on the call like that. In fact, there's a lot of you on the call like that, but I'm not speaking to the lot of you. I'm speaking to somebody special on this call who all of a sudden in your mind is going to leap forward and stand in that person in the future, realizing that right now is your special time, that you have all the resources inside of you that you need to succeed. And like I did in 2009, instead of projecting the leader onto somebody else, instead of needing a guru, you all of a sudden decide to tap into your resources and decide that you're going to be the guru you seek, right? I'm talking to you. And I want you guys to pay attention and to realize something, that the story with Toby and Layla is not an isolated incident, that there are people literally all over the world who speak different languages in different countries having similar breakthroughs, right? I could point to Silvio Fortunato and all the lazy millionaires, right? Carla and Mario and all of the people over in Spain and Portugal across the world that are making this happen. Sarita, right, out in Australia. Or I could point to Rhonda and Brian, right? They live out in Bali, right? right? I have some people that just hit me up in Panama, and they said, hey, can you speak to me in Spanish? And I sent this dude, I can't even remember his name, a message in Spanish because I speak Spanish. And he was all pumped up because he didn't know that I spoke Spanish well enough to communicate a message, right? And I talked to him. I've got people in Costa Rica. I've got people in Mexico. There are people literally all over the world on this line deciding to do this right now. So back to the subject of belief and what really happened to me, right? I got on, and you know what? I was grinding. And then I discovered some secrets, and I discovered a way of earning commissions where I can kind of attract people to me by using blogging and by using video marketing, by using some principles that we're going to talk about later in the week on Thursday, right? And literally, by applying these strategies, I remember my very first month, check this out, I earned a grand total of it was like $15 or $17 or $12 or something, right? Not a lot of money. It wasn't big enough to get me excited. It wasn't big enough to get me pumped up. It wasn't even motivating to me. In fact, I got that first check, and I opened it, and I was all excited because I thought it was going to be a few $100, and I looked at it, and I literally went into my room. I grabbed my pillow, and you know what? It's difficult to admit this, but you know what I did? I laid in my bed, and I cried like a baby, and I almost quit, right? That was 2009. How long before my breakthrough? Like 2 months. That was my first month of work because I took a calculator out, and this is how much I was wallowing in my own self-pity. Oh, poor me, having a pity party, playing a little violin concert for how horrible life was treating me because why can't I be like all these famous bald guys that all make all this money, right? Why can't I be the successful guy at the top or the guru, right? Having my little whiny pity party, right? And I sat there looking at my check and calculated out the 18-hour days that I was putting in, the fact that it was like less than a cent an hour, right? Pretty good time to quit, wouldn't you think? I mean, that's what the relatives would have told you, right? I remember, having a conversation with my mom, and my mom's always supported me and always loved me, and she was just holding it back, and she was like, son, if you want to go back to school, we'll support you, because I never graduated from college. But you know how long that was before my breakthrough? It was just 2 months, right? What if I hadn't stayed in the game? But you know what I did instead of quitting is I reached inside and I gained a little bit of belief, and you know what I decided to do instead? I reached down inside myself and said, you know what, this wasn't a big check, but you know what it is? This check represents the first check that I've gotten from somebody that came to me to join. This is the first commission that I've gotten from somebody that saw me on the internet and pulled out their credit card and decided to buy. This is the very first check. This is the first check that I've ever gotten from somebody who joined me voluntarily without me hassling them to death. This is the first check that I attracted into my life. And it may be only $15, but you know what? This $15 is special. And this $15 represents that I can get a check. And this $15 represents that it can turn into $15,000. And I started to believe in that. And you know what I started to do is I started to work like a maniac, believing that those 15s were going to come every hour, and then they were going to come every minute, and then they were going to come literally so fast into my email inbox that it was going to be exploding with sound, and I wouldn't even be able to concentrate because of all the beeping from new emails coming in. And you know what happened? Well, next month was a little bit better, about $3,000. Right now, from a homeless guy, you got to understand how much money that is. That's like, you own your own TV show or have a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? You just upgraded the van. That van I lived in, it was like $600. This is like $3,000 in a month. It's like it was like a fantasy. Now some of you, you do something else for a living other than being homeless, and so that's not very much money. And you kind of roll your eyes a little bit. And some of you, you think that's a lot of money too. In Costa Rica, they think that's a lot of money. I was like that pity party turned into a commission party is what happened. You know what I'm saying? I started pitying the people not getting the commissions is what I started to do. I was like, those poor souls, they don't know. They can literally just attract this to themselves on the internet, And then guess what happened the next month? It grew to $300 a day for the majority of the month. But I was like antsy because I'd been studying these principles that say, speak your future into existence, have a dream and step into it, write your goals down, and you can make them happen. And I was like, I set this goal 90 days to make $30,000, and I'm supposed to move to Costa Rica because this is my dream, and I'm not on track. And I was like praying, and I was like crying out to the universe, and visualizing that it worked at 18 hours a day. I was like, dude, everything I can, but an opportunity will present itself when the door in the universe opens, no man can shut it. You know what happened? I ran into an opportunity about 2 weeks into the month. 2 weeks into the month, and guess what happened? I was able to get myself in an environment where I got in front of a bunch of people, and I had a week In that week, I made 21 grand in commissions, and that month it was just a little bit over $30,000, just like I had written down. So some of you guys, you listen to this stuff, and you're like, oh, they're talking about setting goals, and they're talking about asking God for things and asking the universe for things, and it's like, oh, yeah, I've heard that all before. Okay, have you done it? You know what I mean? I heard it for ages and didn't do it. You know, I heard it for ages and never had faith in it, right? But I decided to work and act differently. See, because here's the difference between what we're doing and what other people do. Yeah, all of you can pull out your credit card. You can make a decision to join. And if you ain't done that, lock in your spot now. Because I've had personally sponsored today about 10 people already. And it doesn't, whoever invited you here, they're sponsoring people left and right. And you know what? You need to get in and lock in your spot and at least check this out, right? That's fun. That's like a trial. You can be on the page and just click the button and you can join. If you're in our community, I actually encourage you to make a bigger decision, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. I'll talk about what's coming a little bit later on this week, right? But this is the stuff, guys. I heard this for ages. For ages I heard this stuff. This stuff that Layla was talking about, that Toby was talking about, right? Write your goals. What you put in your head before you go to bed matters. What you wake up to matters. The attitude, the energy that you carry through the day matters. You know, there's people right now, rather than listening to this call and being inspired, they're filling their mind with garbage, right? And you're here, so that says something special about you, right? All that stuff does matter. So here I am, I make this big commission day, and I'm sitting there in front of my computer, and the commissions are just flowing in, and I was wearing a tie-dye shirt and these shorts, and I smelled like poo because I hadn't showered in days, and I got in my car with my computer that was like spitting off commissions like crazy, like literally every 10 seconds commission coming into my email, and I drove over to my buddy Chris Rushlow's house, right, because he'd gotten in business with me years before, and he'd gotten so burned out from all the phone calls and so burned out from all the chasing people around and so burned out from all the running around like crazy chickens with your head cut off, right, and not being able to ever sustain it, that he was like, you know what, when you do it, I'll see it. But he always believed in me. He did always believe that I would do it. That's why we were such good friends. And I drove up to his house. I was like, dude, you got to see this. He's like, man, you smell bad. I was like, I do smell bad. But check this out. You got internet in here? He's like, yeah. And I was like, boom. And I put on the internet. It was like, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And his jaw dropped past the capacity of his face muscles to stretch. And he was like, what the hell are you doing, man? He was like, started to scream. Ah! You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. He was like, if you can smell this bad and make this much money, I'm going to be rich. You know what? That was the start. So what did I do? I did what I said I would do. I moved to the beach in Costa Rica. Why? Because I just wanted to do it. I don't know why. I'd never read anything about the country, right? I just wanted to go live at the beach. People have all sorts of theories about why I live in Costa Rica, and they're all hilarious because the truth is I had never read a book about Costa Rica. I didn't speak any Spanish when I moved here. I knew nothing about international business law, so there was like no plans of anything. I just wanted to go live on the beach somewhere in Central America and literally randomly ask 10 people who had been to Central America that I didn't even know, what's your favorite place? And they all said Costa Rica. I had no idea why, and I just moved here without ever even looking at the place that I rented. I just went online, found the place, rented that place, moved to the beach. You know what I mean? Now that, my friends, is a hilarious thing, but why did I do it? Because I think that when you want something, when you dream something, when you write something down, right, and you work for it, and you actually make the money to do it, rather than doing what the rest of the world does, which is just continue to work for and strive for and want more stuff, why not go actually step into that dream? Actually put your toes into that hot sand. Actually look out at the roaring waves of the ocean as they're coming in, putting your arms in the air and believing again in something bigger. Actually stepping into that fire of that dream that came into your heart that night you were on that conference call, pacing back and forth or sitting down in your chair, and you said, you know what, I can do this. See, some of you get a little bit of a different meaning when you get a small commission than I got. Some of you get a little bit of a different belief in that. You say, oh, this doesn't work. There's a lot of reasons I could have said this doesn't work, right? All that work for such little pay that first month. Now, Empower Network is better than what I was doing back then. I couldn't earn commissions like this. If I could have earned commissions like I could earn in Empower Network when I first got started online, I would have made a lot more than that my third month. Now, I was working hard and I won average, right? But you know what? That's what would have happened. Because I was producing 2, 3, 4, 5 sales a day like a crazy madman coming from another planet. And, I would have come in this thing, and I would have, my third month, I probably would have made 50, 60, 70, 80 grand. Just an Empower Network. That's where I was when I got started in 2009. Why? Because I was hungry. I was hungry. See, some of you watching on the page right now on the internet, you're hungry. Some of you who are dialed into the call tonight, you're hungry. You're like Toby Black was. It didn't matter that he was a musician. It didn't matter that he'd never done anything like this. It didn't matter that he'd never had success before. Why? Because he wasn't just a broke musician. He wasn't just an alcoholic. He wasn't just somebody laying on the couch. He was somebody who was laying on the couch that wanted to get up out of the couch. He was somebody that was hungry for success. Hungry, right? And when you get hungry, guys, for a bigger future, when you get hungry for something greater, when you get hungry, you just work differently than everybody else. You just work differently. You work longer. You work harder. You work with a different fire in your eyes. You work with a different fire in your heart. You work with a different passion when you're hungry. And that's where I was, right? So it worked. So what happens next is we get started in this process. I make a couple $100,000, $200,000 the next year, right? And then the next year I make over $500,000, and I'm discouraged, right? And you're like, well, why the heck are you discouraged? Well, I was discouraged because I wanted something more, not for myself, but for the other people around me. I wanted to help people like Toby and Layla. I wanted to help people like Lawrence Tam. I wanted to help people like Justin Berengi, who just before this call tonight, I was on a private hangout with him and his team, helping him put together a team to plan to go diamond this month. I want to help people like Aaron Rashkin, who'd made $1 million before, or $2 million before, or 3 or whatever, make another $10 million and $100 million. I wanted to help people like Silvio, who are all the way across the world. I always had this dream, guys, of being in auditoriums just with 10 and 20 and 30 and 40,000 people in countries where I don't speak the language, right? Having to have a translator there, and just because we're creating so much success, I wanted to help people like Sarita Cleese. I wanted to help people like Brian Ronda. I wanted to help people like Alex and Anna. I wanted to help people like John Ox, right? I wanted to help people like Michael Martin. I wanted to help people to rise up to your level. And because of that, because my dream required it, I started something new. Why? Because my dream broke through the edges of the dreams that I was living in. Right? Tonight, and I always talk about this, and this is one of the reasons I'm here. Why? Because I'm a dream builder. This is what I do. What is David Wood's core competency? What's the source of my magic? I don't know, right? What the source is. I think that there's a higher power behind it. But you know what the truth is? Here's what I am, and here's what I do. I am a builder of dreams. I am somebody that has a dream that's so big that it ignites the people around me, and everyone around me, not just people in Empower Network, start believing in themselves more just from being around me, because I believe so much in people. I am somebody that believes that human beings have the capacity to do great things in their life. I am somebody that believes that people like Toby and Layla aren't just going to go make $1 million. I believe that Toby and Layla are going to make $8 million and $10 million and $20 and $30 million. I believe in people. I believe that people can be great. I believe that people should be empowered to step into their dreams. I believe that people should not live in the box society puts them in. I believe that people should break through the edges of the box. I believe that we'll do great things that you can't even imagine in this company, Empower Network. And I believe that if you run with us and you're willing to work for them and you're willing to stick it through, you know what's going to happen to you is you're going to do things that you can't imagine, because my imagination is a little bit bigger than yours at this point, and you're going to start to believe a little bit more just from being around all the great people that we have in our community. I believe in this community. Right? So some of you are in for a little bit of a treat because you don't know why you're here and you have no clue what we're going to talk about tonight. And Toby and Layla came on and they shared some principles that have helped them get free. And I want you to think about what they shared tonight. Here are some people, guys. Here are some people, right, that were like so broke, it's unimaginable. Because they make $1 million in like 4 years. Right? People that society would just kind of like be like, oh yeah, maybe we'll make music one day. And you know what, maybe they'll be rich musicians too. They could do that too, right? But here's the thing, right? These guys get involved online. Just go out with passion. $1 million in 4 years. What a great story. But you know what the greatest part is? It's just getting started. It's just getting started. Guys, the things that the things that we've done in the last month to enhance your ability to make money don't exist anywhere in the world in direct sales, anywhere in network marketing, anywhere in home business. They just don't. I was talking to Lawrence Tam about the things he has access to, qualifying to the levels in the comp plan, guys, with the Uniline system that we've announced here in the last month, and hopefully you guys know what that is. If you don't know what it is, go and get a video from your sponsor. Say, please get me the video that explains that system to me. Watch it, and you're just going to pull out your credit card and get in, and you're going to understand why we're going to fill rooms and auditoriums as big as we are. But I'm going to tell you something. The urgency behind the actions you're going to take is pretty great, and I'm just going to say something. You need to just make a decision to do this if you've ever wanted something like this, because this community of people is different and produces different results than people. This community is something that's special. And you say, well, would you say that? Of course, Dave, you're the owner of it, right? Well, yeah, I'm the owner of it who has always paid myself less than I make as an affiliate in the company. Why? Because I've taken most of my affiliate income that I've generated, like a regular affiliate like you, and put it back in the company because I want to, because I just don't need it, right? That's just who I am. You can be who you want to be, right? I really just like giving. I take a bunch of my other money. You know what I do? I feed kids all over the world. Why? Because I like to feed kids. Because I've got kids, and I like it when I get to feed kids. It makes me feel good inside, right? So I've got this outrageous goal from to feed 1 million kids a month, right? One of the other reasons I do what I do. But you know what? I like to be a giver. Why? Because I love to give. It's not because I want to receive. Look, I know that I'm going to receive. It's like a fundamental law written in the universe, right? That if I give, I'm going to receive. It's just there. I'm not doing that because I want to receive. I'm doing that because I like to empower people. I'm doing that because I like to lift people up. I'm doing that because I like to give people dreams and visions. I like to believe in people. Why do I like to do it? Because I love people. I love them, right? I started this company because I love people enough to believe in them unconditionally no matter what they're doing. And sometimes, you know, I'm imperfect. I'm not running around. I'm not some sort of saint or something like that, right? So sometimes I get mad and stuff like that, like any other human being. You know what I do? I try to just let it go as quickly as I possibly can. Because I've seen people who you would never believe could do anything. Do things like Toby and Layla. Here's the thing. Society doesn't believe they could do something. Society says, oh, they didn't go to school. Society says, oh, they failed at this. Society said, oh, this person failed for 7 years in this industry. Ha, 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 ha. Try another one, right? Society says, society says, society says. But I don't care what society says. I don't care what the world says. I don't care what the relatives say. I don't care what the extended family say. I don't care what people's spouses tell them. I don't care what people believe about themselves, because I know that they're created to be greater. I know that their vision can be greater. I know that they can step into a greater future. I know that they can go out there and they can be a transformation of the world. I know that they can dream bigger, that a dream can just be placed into their heart if I'll just get around them long enough, and they will change. I've seen people change who you wouldn't think could change, who you wouldn't think it's possible to change, and I have seen them change and step into greatness that nobody around them but me believed they would do. I've seen it happen again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So I created a company with a vision big enough to support that level of change, that level of transformation, that level of people stepping into earning $1 million, right? Toby and Layla, they're so close. They're going to step into that $1 million ring. I can't remember how far away they are. We give a ring away to people who have earned $1 million in commissions, and they're like $20,000 or $30,000 away. Some struggling, broke ex-musicians laying on a couch underneath a bar a few years back, now owning their own home, loving their 2 beautiful children, being able to literally not imagine a dream, but being able to live in a dream right now and imagine an even bigger dream. Guys, that is such a powerful story. And later this week on Thursday, we're going to do a webinar with them, and they're going to teach you and break down a little bit more specifically an environment where you can see it, how they did some of that. But I don't want to talk too much about that right now. We'll send out emails. It'll be Thursday night. What I want to talk about right now is what's next for you. So you're on this call and you've listened to somebody's story, you've listened to some inspiration, and you've heard a little bit about this company. Probably you're either involved, you're pulling out your credit card, or you want to know what's next for you. Here's what's next for you if you're on this call. I want you to realize something, guys, that it's not being in the right place at the right time only right, that's going to get the results that you want. Is Empower Network right now at the right place at the right time? Yes, it is, for a lot of reasons I don't have time to get into on this call, right? The question is not, is it at the right place at the right time? Is it going to prosper and grow? Will it be in a greater future? Will the doorways in space-time be open for Empower Network to step into auditoriums with 15, 20, and 30,000 people? The answer to those questions is yes, it will. The question is not, will it? The question is, will you? The question is not, can you? The question is, will you? There's a difference. The question is, will you decide not just to get in? That part's easy. Get in. If you're on page right now, you're still on this, it's because you want to do it. You would not be able to handle listening to this entire call if you didn't want to do something like this. Just go to the page and join. Pull out your credit card and buy. Stop being double-minded about it, right? Why? Because a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. You can never accomplish anything being double-minded. You can't go to Bora Bora and accomplish great things being double-minded. You can't marry the woman of your dreams being double-minded about it. You can't go out there and create a prosperous business if you're going to be double-minded and second-guess your decision all the time. You're not going to build a great business as an Empower Network if you're going to be in and out all the time, have one foot in and one foot out, if you're going to be sitting on a fence never making a decision, right? You got to get on one side of the river or the other. If you go in the middle of it, you're just going to drown. You got to realize something, guys, that if you're on this call, the only reason why you're on this call is because you want to prosper more in your life. You've got a dream that maybe you just started to believe in for the first time. You've got something in your future that you want, guys, where you can become greater than you even think that you can, than anybody around you believes that you can. You can do greater things than you've ever done in the past. It doesn't matter what happened in the past to you. You're here because you believe in something, and if that's you and you're not in yet, pull out your credit card, go to the page, and just join. And you know what? If you're in Empower Network, I'm going to say something different to you. And if you just joined a second ago, I'm going to say something different to you because now you're in. And welcome all the people that have joined. There are people who have been waiting, sitting on the pages. Other people have been joining. And you know what? In our comp plan, you're losing placement as those people are joining because they could have been in your team had you just got in a little bit earlier. So if you're even thinking about it, I would run to the page and just lock in your spot. But, you know, here's the thing, guys. You're on this call. You're listening to this. And let's say you're in or let's say you just bought, right? There's a different level of decision to make. And what is that? The level of decision is this, and it is not, are you going to purchase something? It's not, are you going to follow this or that step? Those are all secondary decisions. There's one decision that is a different decision, and I'm going to speak to this decision for maybe the next couple of minutes, and then we're going to end the call. And that decision is this. It is, are you going to do this or not? Because the question is not, like I said before, are we going to? The question is, are you going to? Are you going to do this or not? Are you going to go diamond or not? If you're an empowered, know what that means. If you don't know what it means, you can find out what it means. The question is not, is it going to happen? The question is, are you going to happen? The question is it not, is it going to work? Because it works. We've proven it. The question is, are you going to work? The question is, are you going to go out there and market? The question is, are you going to get on the Hangouts and webinars? The question is, are you going to step into your dreams and your future? That's the real question I've got for you tonight. It's not, are you going to get in? Look, that's a tiny decision to get in. The big decision, right, the bigger decision for you, and if you're on here, it's because you want to do it, and you're still being double-minded about it and still questioning yourself. And I understand that double-mindedness because I lived that double-mindedness for 7 broke years. And those 7 broke years would have been massively shortened if I would have got out of that double-mindedness year 1. If I would have gotten out of my double-mindedness and out of my lack of belief in myself, year 1, I would have succeeded year 1 no matter what company I was in. Because when I finally stepped into my future, it was not because I was in the right company at the right time. It was because I was the right man at the right time. It was because I decided that I was going to do it no matter what state of growth I was in. The companies that I joined, after I joined them, you know what? They weren't even growing at all anymore, ever again. Both of them when I started joining on the internet. I still got to $30,000 a month in 90 days. See our income disclosure, see our average earnings, right? Why? Because that had nothing to do with the state of hyper growth in the company. It had nothing to do with anything but my decision, right? It had nothing to do with anything but what I was willing to do. It had nothing to do with anything but the fact that I was doing it right then. So you're on this call, and yeah, you've decided to get in, right? And can you just hang out, and can you chill out and check it out? Yeah, you can hang out and check it out as long as you like, right? I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. But you know what? I am going to speak. Doesn't mean I'm not going to call you out on your bullshit. It doesn't mean I'm going to call you out on your lack of decision, right? On your lack of deciding something. I was on a call with some people in Justin Brenzi's team who he hand-selected to invite them to be a part of his Black Card membership and be a part of a special mentoring group that he has in his team to help some people hit gold in the next few months. And there were some people on that call that were lily-dallying around, being double-minded about making a decision. Well, some other people grabbed the decision, locked in their spot, and they just made a decision. They said, I'm getting all in right now. And Justin, well, those other people were being double-minded, made another $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 from the people that decided to run with him, right? Why did they decide to run with him? They decided to run with him because they know he's a great leader. There's people on this call, you've been in Empower Network for a year, but you're not all in yet. You're not attending the hangouts and the conference calls as regularly as you should. You're not promoting. You're not marketing. You're double-minded. You're guessing all the time, am I going to do it or not do it? You're second-guessing yourself because you've never really made a decision. I was at the event about a month and a half ago, right? There's a guy named Hank that I met. Now, what I didn't know about Hank, right, is Hank wasn't all in. He'd been in Empower Network for like 3 years. I had a conversation with him, a series of them, probably a total talking time to him of about 10 minutes. Through the whole weekend. But something in him changed when I talked to him. A belief inside of him changed. And you know what? A week later, and I didn't even know he wasn't all in. Or you know what the truth is? I might not have spent that much time with him because I had a lot of other people I could have spent time with. And you know what happened? He sent me a message on Facebook a week later. He said, I've been in for 3 years, and I've been lying to myself, telling myself I've been making a decision about this, and I would go in, but I don't have the money yet. And you know what he did instead? He said, I made a real decision when you talked to me that day. He said, that day when you looked in my eyes, something inside me changed. And I made a real decision, and the decision wasn't to get all in. The decision was, I'm doing this no matter what. That's it, period. The decision was, this is where I'm going to plant my flag. You know what the decision was? I am going to get to the top of this. And it took me 7 days after 3 years to make a decision that I could have made 3 years ago, but didn't because I was being double-minded about my future. And as long as he was double-minded about his future, it was always going to be in the future. That's not a fun place, right? You always want to have a greater future, but that doesn't mean you don't want to step into it at some time, right? You want to step into your dreams and goals, guys. You want to make a decision that this is what you're going to do. So why am I talking to you like this tonight? Because I know where Empower Network is going. Right now I'm looking out over the cities of Escazú, San Jose. I've got Heredia out in the background, right? I can see Santa Ana, all these cities that are around Costa Rica where I live. And I'm looking out over lights, probably 100,000 lights that I can see in the city from this giant view that I've got in this house that I live in. And underneath every single one of those lights is a human being. Maybe 10 human beings, maybe 20, right? And guess what all those 20 people have? They all have a vision. They all want bigger things, right? There's probably right now, right in front of me, 500,000 people praying for an opportunity like you've got, right? People that would actually work for it. Praying, open a door, right? Some of them are asking the universe. Some of them are asking God. Some of them are meditating on it. Some of them are just hoping, I need an opportunity. I need an opportunity. I need an opportunity. I remember I was driving down the road and I saw a guy. He was dressed in a suit in the middle of the highway, right, holding a sign saying, don't give me money because I want a job. I want to work. Here's my phone number, right? And this guy, he was standing there for 2 or 3 days, and they put him on the news. And you know what happened? He got like 200 phone calls from people saying, I want somebody like you to work in my company. Now, that's a guy who wants opportunity. He'll stand in a suit in a hot road, right, in a country where we're close to the equator, where it's 80 degrees all the time, all day, holding a sign, not begging, but asking, saying, please give me an opportunity, and I will work for it. And you know what the sad thing is that man could have much greater opportunity, much greater abundance. But you know what they did? And this was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. They got this guy, and I'm glad I understand Spanish now to be able to understand this. They got this guy on TV, and they interviewed him because they showed this when it happened. And he was crying. You want to know why? Because he asked for an opportunity, and it was given to him. And here's a guy that'll work for $5 an hour. And a lot of people on this call right now, you just want it to happen, but you don't want to do anything. You want the money to flow into your life, right? But you're not really willing to work for it. You're complaining about this thing or that thing, or you put an ad out that it didn't get exactly what you wanted the first time you tried, and you know what? You're not realizing something. You're not realizing something. You're realizing that you're in something, not like that guy where he's going to go out and he's going to work for a company and make $5 an hour or whatever the wage is down here, because it's not very big in Costa Rica, right? $600 a month. You're in something where if you just go work, if you just decide to take action, the opportunity, there is no ceiling on the income that you can make. That's what you have access to right now. But you need to make a decision. You need to be willing to step into the future that you can step into. Be willing to work for it, because you know what? I had a guy say something to me a long time ago, and I will always remember who said it. His name is Dave Shores. He said, I am not lazy, I am ambitiously lazy. And what that means is I will be ambitious and work hard to be lazy for the rest of my life. And that's why I like the lazy millionaires over in Portugal, because they're not lazy, they're ambitiously lazy. What does that mean? It means they're willing to work hard to set themselves up for the future. Why? Because the founding fathers, if you're in North America, they did not sail over months of barren oceans, right, with malaria and people around them dying of disease to come to the United States to get a job working for somebody making $5 an hour. They traveled across the world. They were willing to sacrifice everything. They were willing to lose everything. They were just trying to keep their babies alive, to travel to a land where they could be free, to travel through a land where they could have opportunity for liberty, for life, for the pursuit of happiness, the way that they wanted to have it in their life. They traveled across the world for a vision that was in their heart, because they wanted to go and empower the generations of their family in the future to not live in bondage, but to live in liberty. And now we live in a world where people all around the world, in the countries all over the place, not just in the United States, they've gotten lazy and lackadaisical, and now sometimes they won't even go and write a blog post to be free. They won't even get on a call consistently to be free. But why are you here? You're here not because you're them. You're here because you're a people that set apart. You're here because you're a people that are empowered. You're here because you're a people that will do what it takes. You're here because you're a special people, a people that are going to empower the world to step into a new kind of prosperity. Because this is not about being an American. This is about creating a new America. This is about creating a world where we're creating our own liberty, where we're generating our liberty from the power of our imagination, where we're generating the freedom that our forefathers, our founding fathers, they were willing to die for it. And we can go and we can just push a button and we can create it. We can place an ad and we can sponsor it. You're one person away from sponsoring your future. You're one person away, one ad away from making that person decide to get in your business who's the next $1 million earner in Empower Network. You are one day away from a breakthrough that you can't imagine. And some of you are going to cross over that line like I did, get that first check, and you know what you're going to say? You're going to say, this check represents not a small check. This check represents the fact that somebody was attracted to me and my business, that somebody was on a page like me in my business, they hit a buy button, and they decided to join. They decided to join, and that means I can get millions to join. That's what that can mean for you. So you're here. You say, what's next? Pull out your credit card. Make a decision. Make a decision that you're getting in. Make a decision that you're getting all in. Don't be flimsy about your future. Don't be cheap with your education. Don't be cheap with what you're willing to do to invest in yourself, to turn yourself into a new person. Don't be cheap with the time commitment you're willing to put into this, guys, because we're in a special moment where we're gathering massive momentum right now. And we are. I posted photos of it. You can see the excitement all across our community of what's happened. And you know what? It's just starting. Just wait until we have the end of month results from all of the checks that are happening this month from the growth and Empower, and then the next wave that's going to attract over the next month and the next month after that. Guys, we are going to generate some massive leaders and a whole bunch of mid-level and low-level new leaders who are going to step up into massive leaders in the future in the next 6 months. And if you ain't a part of it, it's not because it ain't happening. It's because you ain't happening, because all you got to do is make a decision that, yes, it's happening for you, but make a decision that you're not just getting in, that you're going to be all in your heart and mind. right? That you're doing it no matter what, that you are planting your flag here, right? That you're going to decide to have a vision here, that you're going to decide to step into a new future here because you can, right? That's what I want to make you a decision to do. And then I want you to join us this Thursday because Toby and Layla are going to come back on with us on a webinar, and they're going to show us a little bit more detail about how they're doing what they're doing. You actually get to see to watch it in your computer, but get in and invite people to that. It'll be Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see you there, guys. Be watching. And just what do? You say, I just got in. What do I do to get started? Well, here's what you should do, all right? Number one, get in. Number two, right, you want to make sure that you upgrade to the products that are going to give you the education you want, at least something called the Builders Club. You'll see it in the funnel when you join and when you get in. Just make sure to at least buy up to that, if nothing else, right? And then what you want to do is immediately plug into your team, immediately plug into the company, start placing ads, generating leads, and invite them to the next meeting that we've got coming up Thursday night, where we are going to show you how to build something that you can't even imagine. So if you're not in yet, what do? Make a decision to get in, right? Now, there's different levels of decision. I'm encouraging you to make a bigger one. Why? Because I believe you're a bigger person. That's why. Make a decision. Get in. Come back. Join us on Thursday. We'll see you here. We'll show you some secrets. There'll be a lot of people on there. 2,000 people will be on that hangout. I want you guys to take notes, and just more importantly than taking the notes, take the actions that you say you're going to take when you write down the notes. Take the actions, right? Take the actions. That's what you want to do, is take action, right? Take massive action, massive all-out action, massive all-in action, massive decisions, massive commitments. That's what you need to do. And we will help you create things that you can't create on your own, because remember, we are always more powerful when you're unified together. That's why we just made a new comp plan and called it the Uniline. Why? Because it unifies us in building your business together. That's what it does. And if you don't know what it is, just get in, ask your sponsor, say, hey, I need a video to the comp plan. I want to go check that out and understand it. And I'm telling you something, if you ain't drooling now, you're going to be drooling then. And if you don't get that, you know what? Go do something else for a living. It's fine. We love you. We support you on the way out. But if you see that, I am telling you something, that is going to get you pumped up and excited. I just had a guy reactivate who's made $5 million in his last company because of that comp plan, right? Guys, we've had people coming out of the woodwork joining and positioning themselves because of that comp plan, because it's something that's special, as evidenced by the checks that it's creating. And I'm telling you something, if you don't get it, it's okay. It's okay. Just make a decision to run with it. Make a decision that you're going to do it. Make a decision that you're going to market it. Make a decision that you'll understand it when you're making $10,000 a month, that you'll understand it when you're out there doing it. See our income disclosure for anything that I say. Make a decision that you are doing it no matter what. You are going to get to the top. You are making a decision right now. You pulled out your credit card and decided to buy. You're going to get in, all in with us and be at our next event. And I'm telling you something, I'll not only see you on Thursday, I'll see you with a group of people on Thursday. And I'll not only see you at the next event, I'll see you at the next event with a team of 100 people. I'll see you with a check that's growing and prospering because of the decision that you made where you said, yes, I'm accepting the fire of this new dream that's being put in my heart, and all over the world there's people lighting up and committing again right now to go out there and empower the world together, because we are Empower Network.